Hi guys, I'm Shruti and I make videos about studying, working and living abroad. Today's video is for all those of y'all who actually want to see the kind of messages and the CV that got me the job that I was working at since the last 2 years. So if that's something for you, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like this video and continue watching. So guys, when I started applying for my internship/apprenticeship back in 2020, I was constantly adapting my methods to see what suits me. I've made already another video to detailed explanation about how the process looked like for me. So you can definitely go check it out. I'll link it somewhere. But this video is more focused on the kind of offers that I actually got and what I did to get it, very specifically by showing you screenshot of the messages that I sent, how did I find the people, and so on and so forth. So without further ado, let's get started with the step one. So I keep talking about LinkedIn as my tool. I keep talking about networking with people. So that's what I did. So when I finalized the kind of companies that I wanted to work with, I made a list of the people that would be relevant to the kind of role that I want to do. So like I talked about in the last video, that I wanted to do business development, I wanted to do account executive roles, I wanted to do account management, basically sales and ops and a little bit of marketing sometimes. So I knew that these would be like the head of operations or VP of operations or operational manager or sales manager or head of BD. These would be interesting profiles to reach out to because they are going to be in a decision making position, especially because it's a startup that I was applying to. They would have more leeway on who is getting into their teams, and they will have some idea at least about what the roles are in the company, and I would have a better shot at reaching to the right person at the right time already. So that's what I did. I actually found out one of the people who was at a very senior level at the company, who then probably happened to be my manager's manager, so N+3. But yeah, I mean, I did that. At that point I did not know there's even going to be a role. So what I did was that I found the person and I found 5 others and I sent them messages about how I wanted to work with them. So you can now see in the screenshot how the message looked like. So I think if I'm gonna reflect, I find myself very interesting because I was so direct about working with the company in the kind of roles, and then I was just very direct about, can we connect and discuss this further. So it was not very desperate in terms of I'm just looking for this role and this is what I want to do. I was really trying to be open, I was trying to be direct, and if there's anything I would like to connect with them in any way. So that was my aim. So you can see that I did get a response, and definitely what you don't see next happens is that he asked me to send me his CV, and then the HR contacted me. But when he asked me to send the CV, I'm going to take you to the next step now. What did I do? So I did not take a lot of time. Remember guys, proactiveness is really key, okay, when it comes to application. So the moment he told me that just send me your CV, I quickly adapted it with relevant experiences, which was more or less the same because I did not have a lot of experience back then. So I used my CV, just if I had to change anything I changed it, and then within like a few hours I made sure that I sent the CV. So now you will see how my message looked like. So this is again very, very direct. Probably now that I've grown up, I'll not be so direct. I guess I'll be a little more calmer, but I don't know. So at that point I was very direct. It's in reference to the conversation about the apprenticeship. You can find my CV attached, and then of course feel free to reach out. So I think it's very sweet and simple. And yeah, of course after this, since I sent my CV, I also followed up on LinkedIn saying that, hey, I sent you the CV and let me know how it goes and stuff like that. And then to my surprise, they actually did not get back to me for a week. So I was very, very disheartened. I was like, okay, I thought it's going really well. And then I wrote back in a very good manner. I then wrote back and I asked about how nobody has reached out to me, and what should I do about it, and if everything is okay, kind of thing. So yeah, I mean, with that was a good thing. I actually got a reply that yeah, he'll make sure that the HR contacts me, and that was the beginning of something very, very beautiful. So yes, the HR did contact me after that. They asked me for what I'm expecting, what my role expectations are in terms of money, what am I expecting and stuff like that. So it was a very direct HR call. And just to now reveal to you the kind of CV I used to share with HR as well as the person that I'm speaking to. So cringy, like I'm feeling very, very weird about sharing it, but yeah, let's do this. So the CV that I shared was what we talked about with the HR, and then even with the consequent like the next interviews that I had. So as you can see, it was basically about my education. So you know what's really bothering me now, thinking about like things, the alignment of education and professional experience is not correct. So it's really bothering me as a person who's applying now. I'm very particular about these things, but of course at that point I was also learning. It was one of my first jobs. So yeah, so I went ahead with education. I wrote what I majorly did, relevant courses for the role, and then I went ahead and spoke about professional experience. So in terms of professional experience back then, before I started working with Back Market, I already had a quick internship with another company in France that was a startup. So I mentioned that. I mentioned the company that I started for helping students to study abroad. I talked about my previous experiences, and I think what I did was that I majorly focused on my relevant experiences, which was recent, and for the others that were old, I only focused on 2 or 3 points, if you see that. So yeah, I mean, now that I think of it, one more thing is a bit off, is that I mean, I have included for 2020, like I was applying in 2020, I have like literally used experiences of 2015. I don't think I would do that anymore. It's kind of very old, but I don't know, like at that point I did not have much, so I had to. When it came to position of responsibility, I again tried to use what was more relevant in terms of leadership skills and stuff like that. So as you see, I've mentioned 2 position of responsibility. And then when it came to skills, I have again mentioned all the relevant skills I have in terms of the roles that I was applying for. So it's very, very basic Microsoft Office. And now, of course, I have more tools because I actually learned it. So in my final, like right now, I put many things, which is Salesforce and a lot of other tools that are more relevant today. But at that point, this is what I had. So this is what it is. And in terms of languages, of course, I've mentioned some of the languages that I speak. So yeah, that was a very sweet and simple CV. It was very, very direct. The formatting is still bothering me, but other than that, I think yeah, I did a great job back then. Very proud of it. But would I send such a CV again? Not really, I guess. So yeah, that is it. And then after this CV was sent out, I was always getting questions about it. In the HR, I was getting more basic questions. In my next rounds of interviews, I was getting more specific questions. They were diving deep into particular aspects of the CV. And then in another round that I had with my N+1, it was more about like what I learned out of it, my strength, my weaknesses and stuff like that. And then I had another round with N+3, which was basically about again like what I think about startups in general, what did I learn from my experiences. Very, very macro. So it kept getting macro as I progressed in the interviews. I also had a case study at some point. So it was a long, like it was a 6-part interview. So you can imagine it was very long. But yeah, I think the CV went a long way. I did get the role finally. So yeah, and that's it. So I hope if you're new to the process of applying, if you're new into the journey of finding internships, I think one advice that I have for you is that starting early, just starting basically will get you somewhere. Because if you try to perfect every aspect of your CV, like right now, I don't like it that much. But I mean, if you try to perfect everything, you're going to just waste more time. So just start applying with the kind of best version you think you could present at that point of time. And once you start applying, you will keep learning through the changes, through the things you will get feedback on and stuff like that. So keep changing it, keep adapting it, but don't stop looking because your CV is not ready. I would say that that was one of the mistakes that I might have also pursued in the beginning. So, and it still is not perfect. So that just means that nothing is perfect. You need to put down on a paper whatever you have done and start to actually have a format that's more standard, and then keep adapting it. So yeah, that's it. One more advice that I have for you is that after every interview that I was having, I was actually going back on the email or the LinkedIn and sending thank you messages. That is also very, very key, because I had such a personalized approach towards the application. I wanted to make sure that they don't forget my name, so I always would say thank you after the interview. And the person who first recommended me, I would also take some time to actually update him by saying that, hey, you know what, I just completed my interview with the HR, it went well. And then he would also ask me questions, okay, when is the next round, how is it going? So it was a very good, like by the end of it, I was already prepared for who I'm going to be seeing. So that was really helpful, because I actually could go to the LinkedIn profile in advance and actually know who I'm going to be speaking to. So I would always customize my questions for them as well. So for one of the people, for example, it was my third round of interview, and I knew that the person who's interviewing me is from a finance background herself. So I used that to leverage my skills. I used that to ask questions about why did they switch from finance to startups. So this makes it a very personal interview. It looks like one has researched enough, one really cares to send thank you later. So these are small advices that I'm just giving you out there. I can make a detailed video if you want, definitely, but yeah, that actually got me the job. So I hope this was helpful. I will see you guys around later, and have a great day. Bye bye.